Now, there is another... Wrong button. There is another quest that I have to do yet. Besides this one, it's actually kind of close. It's the Braille... Wait. The Braille one is done. Let's go back there. I'm sure it's the... Did I miss something in his dialogue?
Good evening, Mr. Swanborough. So did you decide not to take the experimental cure for blindness?
Oh no, I have. For a few hours.
But you are still... What do you mean? I don't understand.
I saw the world again, Dr. Reed. For a few hours I witnessed how ugly and sad and tragic this city is.
I'm sorry the effect didn't last.
You don't get it, do you? I crafted a new formula that made me blind again. The world is a cesspool, Dr. Reed, and I don't want to look at it.
Well, that took a turn. I'm glad I... Okay.
Goodbye, Mr. Swanborough.
Alrighty. It looks like I did a good job clearing this area out. I'm trying to orient myself.
It's locked, all right.
There's a large beast in there. But there's a way to get in. Oh, I remember. It's this horrible setup up in here. Excuse me. I'm here to murder you a little. Please don't attack me. That is very... Oh no, that's very bad. That is also very bad. Oh, that's a blinker. Where did you come from? I mean, I suppose you blank over here. We're gonna need a little bit of blood. We're getting really good stuff, though, of loot from these. I mean, it is high level, so we're back over here to the main area. Locked?
It's locked.
It's a quest objective, is what it is. Just not for the moment. Okay, what about the big beast? Is it not here? What, or was it not a big beast? I don't think it was a big beast. I must have messed it up. Oh, rats. Nice.
This is despicable.
Yeah, don't... Oh. Immediately with that. There we go, much better. Yeah, there was... I don't know. This gate is now open. And I looked in here. Oh, he must have been up there. Yeah, it was definitely one of the vampires. One of the skull. We're good. We're safe. It's a lovely area, though. It's brilliant. Okay, next up.
The Ascalon Club. The heart of British vampire society. Not quite as subtle as I expected.
It isn't very subtle. Got suffragettes in here. Or the one. Excuse me. Miss? Hi. Oh, don't go.
Good evening, miss.
Oh my god, no. Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would... What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reed. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte ASHBURY. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Ekons. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte.
I guess I should have known for her to be out here in the middle of the night, I suppose. Maybe I shouldn't have known.
Tell me about your adoption.
What do you want to know?
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth ASHBURY is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
How did you meet Lady ASHBURY?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Ekon, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
You suspected that she was a vampire? This is gonna be an interesting dialogue, isn't it? Charlotte was raised in Lady ASHBURY's orphanage before being adopted by the lady herself. Charlotte is still hoping to become a vampire despite her mother's disagreement. Yeah. But we knew that last one before.
What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here, and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady ASHBURY never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reed?
I think he is.
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
What an interesting take by Dr. Reed. The rich, yeah, they may take from the workers, but they give some of it back. They're not all bad.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
It's an interesting question. I felt it was a little bit forced, honestly. Would you ask the same of a man? I think it was a little bit forced, but it's just to show her character. It's important to note that it's a good shortcut sometimes to know if you're being sexist. You just compare, would I do the same thing of a man? And then it's kind of a hint. It's not like a clear-cut thing. But sometimes, and a lot of the times, in fact, the same thing can be done to both men and women, or can be asked, or, you know, the way we treat people can be the same for men or for women, and be for different reasons. And so it still can be sexist, even though you would ask the same of a man. Especially for questions, I feel that you would ask. There's a lot of questions that you ask men and ask women the same question, and you might have different intentions behind them.
Are you a suffragette then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time, even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh, now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
Yeah, well, it's not... That's another interesting thing. Although it is a throwaway comment. It isn't really about the men in the vicinity that matters. It's the men in power. But I suppose... Is that... I'm looking at her... I'm looking at her badge. Is that a badge? Is that what it's called? And that's a tricolore. It isn't a tricolore. That's not Italian. I don't know what it is. It could be... Yeah, I don't know what that is, but... Yeah, either way.
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... Well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You have my thanks, Dr. Reed. And please, don't tell my mother.
I will tell your mother. I will definitely tell your mother. But more importantly, I have a quest, if I can find where to get the quests. Oh, is it this one that we got? Oh, right. I was confusing Emily with Louise. Very similar names, you see. So there's 2 quests. Right.
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously. And the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reed? Or you?
Huh. No exclamation mark is probably the answer. Charlotte knows a lot about vampires and does not seem to fear them. Well, she does not seem to fear me and her mother.
Of course not. You have nothing to fear from me or your mother.
Good to know. And don't worry, my mother told me everything I need to know about vampire tricks, their nature as well as features.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reed.
I'm not sure what Dr. Reed means by that. She's unlike any other vampire. But I think that Dr. Reed is indeed unlike any other vampire.
Your mother has refused to turn you into a vampire. Tell me more about it.
Each time we argue, Mother expresses the same fear. She wants me to remain alive and full of joy, rather than become melancholy and immortal. She claims you can't have one without the other. It's pure selfishness.
Melancholic and immortal. Huh.
It's your mother's choice. As daughters and sons, we have to accept the decisions our parents make for us despite our own wishes.
I love my mother, and have accepted everything from her. Even that she named me Charlotte, when it was not my original name.
Does it bother you?
No. Whoever I was when I was born, I am now Charlotte ASHBURY. It hurts as much as it makes me proud to know that's the name my mother will read on my tombstone.
Your mother has walked this earth for much longer than you or I. She is wise, and we should not ignore her advice when we disagree with it.
But why shouldn't I be allowed to forge my own experience? There can't be only one righteous way to deal with eternity.
Yeah. They do talk about vampirism as just sort of, you will never die. And it does seem pretty hard to kill a vampire, but I killed my sister. She was a vampire. She damn died. She did go to death, to dying. There's no eternity for her.
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Yeah, this obsession. It's. We see this over and over again when it comes to fantasy settings that deal with immortality. But it's like passing through life with a child that never ages. Sort of. Because for parents, their kids are always kids. And it's not like it ever changes the way you look at them. And obviously for a child, it's very different. But mostly towards the end of your life, or rather your parents' life. So I don't know. How is it to go through life with a parent that never ages? Probably like any other life. Just at the end, your parent is going to look after you instead of you looking after your parent.
Why do you still hope to become a vampire in spite of your mother's refusal?
It's the immortal aspect of vampires that interests me. The world won't improve unless women take charge. I'm convinced of that.
You're obviously a clever woman with a good education and a brilliant future. But have you thought about the price you'd have to pay? The loneliness, the necessary masquerade.
Is it not true of every high position? To change this world and make it a better place, one needs time on one's side.
Oh. Charlotte hopes to more efficiently pursue her fight against injustice once she becomes immortal. I don't know if this is gonna play a role in what's to come, but her mother specifically mentioned that she's not accepted into the Econ Society, or at least the high echelons of politics, because she's a woman.
Tell me, Charlotte, how do you plan to achieve eternal life, since you've obviously given it a lot of thought?
I won't give up. You have no idea how determined I am, sir. I may contract a deadly disease. I may throw myself under a carriage just to be saved by her sweet kiss.
That's a disturbing answer, young lady. And the worst part of it is, I know you speak the truth.
There are less dangerous ways, Doctor. Instead of throwing myself under a horse like Emily Davison, I could just throw myself into your arms.
Like Emily Davison? What did she just say? What? Also, no, but also what? Okay, what, I'm... It's not here. It's so impossible to tell what I'm looking at. There we go. We don't know the name of Emily. No relationships here. It's not marked in this thing. Her dialogue might be written
Never. That would be betraying your mother's trust. She would never forgive us.
For sure. But look on the bright side. We would have eternity to reconcile.
Or an eternity to run away from your mother's mighty wrath. Quite a terrifying idea, don't you think?
Yes. I think it's wiser to let go of that part of the plan.
Yes, it is.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
I was thinking about that. I'm gonna see her right away. Oh boy. That is... She really does have a death wish, doesn't she? Also, I I'm still shook by the Emily Davison horse bit. We'll do her quest soon enough, though. Hello.
Yes, Jonathan?
She doesn't have new dialogue.
Goodbye, Elizabeth.
Aw. Okay. There's a lot that we haven't seen in here. There you are again. It's curious that that thing is staying still. Is that not like a cloth flag? Oh. Excuse me.
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
What? Underneath what? War?
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to sound selfish.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
Oh, crap.
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
That's what I was wondering about. Although, I wonder if this opened a line with him. Venus is deeply worried for the family's reputation. What I took away is that he's a family idiot. Also, he has a migraine. I might help him out with that.
Do you need medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
No, I don't have any.
I will see you later.
But there is no line for him. No new line. So I need to find his wife, I suppose.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Stop reading this. I want to read it. To the citizens of London, curfew. Oh, there's a thing. To curfew. Yeah. Okay. We have a very pathologic style soundtrack right now. It's a good thing to compare to, I suppose. Although this game's soundtrack stands very much on its own. Excuse me.
We meet again, Mr. Kimura, in a more peaceful situation.
Dr. Reed, still visiting London by night?
We must both be nocturnal animals, you and I. After your captivity, I thought you'd be more cautious.
Breathing the cold night air helps calm my mind, sir. I've had the most frightening nightmares since I escaped that filthy jail.
How is the situation in the West End?
I've heard rumors about armed men patrolling and fighting infected citizens in these very streets. I was lucky they didn't shoot me when I was abducted.
May I ask you what you do for a living, Mr. Kimura?
I was a landlord. A wealthy one. And not a very kind one. I realized recently.
Why this sudden epiphany? Is it because of your near-death experience?
I was already feeling nostalgic about Weymouth, my hometown. With recent events, I'm thinking about going back there.
Tadao is a rich landlord who is nostalgic about his hometown. Why did he say he was? Huh. Don't get it.
What can you tell me about your abduction?
If you really want to know, I was locked in that building for 3 or 4 days. My jailer was insane, mumbling about sacrifice and voices.
And why didn't he sacrifice you?
That was the weirdest part. He claimed to spill blood was not enough. It had to be done when some stars were aligned.
Which stars?
That's the whole point. He wanted me to talk to him about some Red Queen configuration or constellation. I've never heard of such an astronomical term.
I don't think it is an astronomical term. The Red Queen was what? Who was she? Somebody told us about the Red Queen before. And we couldn't know at the time, because there were other words in there. But one of them was definitely Red Queen. And I don't remember who it was. Tadao has been captured by a vampire who had discovered his passion for astronomy.
What did he say about voices?
He constantly whined about the voice of his master, ordering him to do terrible things. He wanted to silence the voice by offering blood. My blood.
I think it might have been the priest. I think it was the priest. Was it the priest? I don't remember.